Number 9. Look at the word it in paragraph 1. Click on the word or press that it refers to. The best answer for this question is the tar. Number 10. When did archaeologists become aware of the possible value of the content of the tar pits? A. During the Ice Age. B. Thousands and thousands of years ago. C. Early in the 20th century. D. Within the past decade. The best answer for this question is C. Early in the 20th century. Which of the following is not mentioned as an example of a skeleton found in the tar pits? A. A bear. B. A sloth. C. A horse. And D. A snake. The best answer for this question is D. A snake. Passage 3. When the President of the United States wants to get away from the hectic pace in Washington, D.C., Camp David is the place to go. Camp David, in Wooded Mountain area about 70 miles from Washington, D.C., is where the President goes to find solitude. It consists of living space for the President, the First Family, and the presidential staffs, as well as sporting and recreational facilities. Camp David was established by President Franklin Delano Roosevelt in 1942. He found the site particularly appealing in that its mountain air provided relief from the summer heat of Washington, and its remote location offered a more relaxing environment than could be achieved in the capital city. When Roosevelt first established the retreat, he called it Shangri-La, which evoked the blissful mountain kingdom in James Hilton's novel Lost Horizon. Later, President Dwight David Eisenhower renamed the location Camp David after his grandson David Eisenhower. Camp David has been used for a number of significant meetings. In 1943, during World War II, President Roosevelt met there with Great Britain's Prime Minister Winston Churchill. In 1959, at the height of the Cold War, President Eisenhower met there with Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev. In 1978, President Jimmy Carter sponsored peace talks between Israel's Prime Minister Menachem Begin and Egypt President Anwar al-Sadat at the retreat at Camp David. Number 12. Which of the following is not discussed about Camp David? A. Its location. B. Its cost. C. Its facilities. And D. Its use. The best answer for this question is B. Its cost. Look at the word it in paragraph 1. Click on the word or press that it refers to. The word it in paragraph 1 refers to Camp David. Number 14. According to the passage, who founded Camp David? A. George Washington. B. The First Family. C. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And D. Dwight David Eisenhower. The best answer for this question is C. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Number 15. The pronoun he in line 10 refers to A. Camp David. B. Roosevelt. C. James Hilton. D. President Dwight David Eisenhower. The best answer for this question is B. Roosevelt. Number 16. Which of the following is not true about President Eisenhower? A. He had a grandson named David. B. He attended a conference with Nikita Khrushchev. C. He named the presidential retreat Shangri-La. D. He visited Camp David. The best answer for this question is C. He named the presidential retreat Shangri-La. Number 17. Khrushchev was at Camp David in A. 1942. B. 1943. C. 1959. D. 1978. The best answer for this question is C. 1959. TOEFL review exercise skills 1 to 5. Study each of the passages and choose the best answers to the questions that follow. Passage 1. Lincoln's now famous Gettysburg Address was not, on the occasion of its delivery, recognized as the masterpiece that it is today. Lincoln was not even the primary speaker at the ceremonies held at the height of the Civil War in 1863 to dedicate the battlefield at Gettysburg. The main speaker was orator Edward Everett, whose 2-hour speech was followed by Lincoln's shorter remarks. Lincoln began his small portion of the program with the words that today are immediately recognized by most Americans. 47 years ago, our father brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proportion that all men are created equal. At the time of the speech, little notice was given to what Lincoln had said, and Lincoln considered his appearance at the ceremonies rather unsuccessful. After his speech, ever in print, appreciation for his words began to grow, and today it is recognized as one of the all-time great speeches. Number 1. The main idea of this passage is that A. The Gettysburg Address has always been regarded as a masterpiece. B. At the time of its delivery, the Gettysburg Address was truly appreciated as a masterpiece. C. It was not until after 1863 that Lincoln's speech at Gettysburg took its place in history. And D. Lincoln is better recognized today than he was at the time of his presidency. The best answer for this question is D. Which of the following is not true about the ceremonies at Gettysburg during the Civil War? A. Everett was the main speaker. B. Everett gave a 2-hour speech. C. Lincoln was the closing speaker of the ceremonies. D. Lincoln's speech was longer than Everett's. The best answer for this question is D. Lincoln's speech was longer than Everett's. Number 3. According to the passage when Lincoln spoke at the Gettysburg ceremonies, A. His words were immediately recognized by most Americans. B. He spoke for only a short period of time. C. He was enthusiastically cheered. And D. Cheered. And D. He was extremely proud of his performance. The best answer for this question is B. He spoke for only a short period of time. Number 4. When did Lincoln's Gettysburg Address begin to receive public acclaim? A. After it had been published. B. Immediately after the speech. C. Not until the present day. D. After Lincoln received growing recognition. The best answer for this question is A. After it had been published. Number 5. Look at the word it in the passage. Click on the word oppressed that it refers to. Second line before it finished, and today it is recognized as one of the all-time great speeches. It here mean refer to Lincoln's speech or his speech. Okay. Passage 2. High fever is a seasonal allergy to pollens. The term high fever, however, is a less than adequate description since such an attack can be brought on by sources other than high-producing grasses and since an attack of this allergy does not incur fever. The cause of high fever can be quite varied. High fever is generally caused by airborne pollens, particularly with pollen. The amount of pollen in the air is largely dependent on geographical location, weather, and season. In the eastern section of the United States, for example, there are generally 3 periods when pollen from various sources can cause intense high fever suffering in the springtime months of March and April, when pollen from trees is prevalent in the summer months of June and July, when grass pollen fills the air, and at the end of August when ragweed pollen is at its most concentrated levels. What results from an attack of high fever is not a fever. Instead, a person with high fever will suffer symptoms such as red and itching eyes, a swelling and runny nose, and repeated bouts of sneezing. Number 6. Which of the following would be the best title for the passage? The best answer for this question is B. Misconception and facts about high fever. Number 7. According to the passage, which of the following helps to explain why the term high fever is somewhat of a misnomer? The best question for this question is B. The amount of pollen in the air depends on geographical location. Number 8. Number 8. Which of the following is not discussed in the passage as determining factor of the amount of pollen in the air? The answer is D. Altitude. Number 9. Which of the following is not true about high fever in the eastern United States? The best answer for this question is A. Suffering from hay fever is equally severe year-round. Number 10. Click on the drawing that represents a potential cause of high fever. The best answer for this question is A. Number 11. Which of the following is not a symptom of high fever? The best answer for this question is A. A high fever. Number 12. Click on the paragraph that outlines how, when, and where hay fever develops. The best answer for this question is paragraph 2. Passage 3. Theories about the movement of the continents have evolved over time as the ability to conduct scientific study of the continent has improved. Thus, today's theory of plate tectonics, rather than contradicting its predecessor, had its roots in the older theory of continental drifts. According to the theory of continental drift, the continents are not fixed in position, but instead move slowly across the surface of the Earth, constantly changing in position relative to one another. This theory was first proposed in the 18th century when mapmakers noticed how closely the continents of the Earth fit together when they were matched up. It was suggested then that the present-day continents had once been one large continent that had broken up into pieces which drift apart. Today, the modern theory of plate tectonics has developed from the theory of continental drift. The theory of plate tectonics suggests that the crust of the Earth is divided into 6 large and many small tectonic plates that drift on the lava that compose in the inner core of the Earth. These plates consist of ocean floor and continents that quite probably began waking up and moving relative to one another more than 200 million years ago. Number 13. The topic of this passage is C. The development of ideas about the movement of the Earth's surface. Number 14. The passage states that the theory of continental drift developed as a result of B. The word mapmaker. Number 15. Look at the word they in paragraph 2. Click on a word or phrase that they refers to. They here refers to mapmakers. Number 16. Which of the following is not true about the theory of plate tectonics? The best answer is D. It was proposed by mapmakers. Number 17. According to the passage, what constitutes a tectonic plate? The best answer for this question is D. The surface of the land and the floor of the ocean. Number 18. Which of the following best describes the organization of the passage? The best answer for this question is D. One hypothesis is developed from another. 19. Click on the paragraph that describes the earlier theory. The answer is paragraph 3. That's all from me. Thank you so much for listening. See you next assignment. Goodbye.